Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here, and welcome back to our next episode of the SWE Universe Mode. We are here for our final episode of Mayhem before our first Mayhem pay-per-view, which PJ Toby's still a little bit up and down on what he's going to call. I'm sure I'll have something for you soon. And here we go, we are going to start tonight's show off with a tag team match. We're going to see the current Mayhem tag team champions, the Broken Hardys, taking on the American Wolves. And here we go. Now, of course, in a few days' time, at our very first Mayhem pay-per-view, the Broken Hardys will be defending their Mayhem Tag Team Championships against Mustache Mountain, who have so far won 2 matches this month. However, you'd think that if the Wolves were to win this match here against the champions... good old Jeff Hardy's doing well there. Matt is did a fantastic job there of clipping the belt for his coat. Always useful. Yeah, if the American Wolves can win here, you would think that they would actually be #1 contenders to face off against the winners at the pay-per-view, but that's an if. We'll have to wait and see what happens as the time goes on. We have seen the Wolves. Have we seen the Wolves so far this month? I don't. Oh, yes, we have. No, the Wolves defeated the Unbreakable Machines last week. They did, didn't they? The Wolves defeated the Unbreakable Machines. Now they got a chance to defeat the champions. Yeah, this would definitely make the Wolves #1 contenders if they could win this match. So it is a really, really big match for them, and a big match for the Hardys. Well, the first time they have appeared in Season 2 of this SWE Universe Mode. And they could do with the momentum, because of course Mustache Mountain, who they're going to be facing off against at the pay-per-view, has built up quite a bit of momentum. They've had 2 wins from 2 matches so far, so they do have that bit behind them, and they could be a very, very dangerous team for the Hardys to face off against at the pay-per-view. Now, it's a sad day for me today, because this is the last video I'll be uploading while I'm currently away. I fly back in this evening. I have 2 weeks away in Greece. And I'm happy at the moment, because literally I'm recording this 2 days before I go away to Greece, and it's going to be uploaded the day I come home. It's depressing. It's depressing. But it means we can do a lot more recording, and we do have something pretty big planned for you. I know SWE, as you may be aware, if you're an ongoing fan, is uploaded every other day, so normally there wouldn't be an episode tomorrow, but just in the off chance, just have a look around tomorrow around about 7 o'clock in the evening. Just have a look. You never know, there might be something a little bit different uploaded. Who knows? I'm not going to say anything else. Just a little hint there. Just have a quick check up tomorrow. You never know what might pop up. You know. Good moonsault there by Davey Richards on Broken Matt Hardy. Now, of course, we have had a couple of dark matches this evening, as always. JBL and Terry Funk lost to Dusty Rhodes in a triple threat match. So Dusty getting some nice points there. And we've had a trade as well, of course. At the end of a pay-per-view, each brand is allowed to make trades as long as they're mutually agreed between myself and PJ Toby. And we did come up with a trade that we were both happy with. It's a bit of a low one. It's not going to make a huge amount of difference, but we have swapped Goldust from Octane to Mayhem. And Drew Gulak has left Mayhem to join Octane. So it was good for me. I've gained myself another cruiserweight, basically. That was what I was looking for. And PJ Toes managed to pick up Goldust, who I think suits this Mayhem roster quite nicely, actually. And in our second dark match, Hideo Itami actually defeated Goldust. So Hideo Itami picking up some points. Well, very important for Hideo Itami. I'm not sure why PJW sees Itami. I don't know whether he might consider trying to move him over onto one of the cruiserweight shows at some point. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose. But other matches here this evening. We did announce a few of them last week, but it's an amazing night. It really is. After this one, we are going to see Brian Cage versus John Cena in a battle of the strength, essentially. After that, we're going to see Seth Rollins versus Johnny Mundo. Again, an incredible match. But they don't stop there. No. After that match, Pentagon Jr. versus Aleister Black. Yes. And then a main event. A match I think we have done before, but it's just an incredible match. We've got to do it again. Randy Savage, the Macho Man, takes on Shawn Michaels. So an incredible night of wrestling for you once again. Really is the home of dream matches, SWE. And there is... Oh, I thought he was going to go for a senton there. Went for the leg drop instead on debut. Is that debut still? Yeah, it is, yeah. I've not been paying attention, but there you go. As the end of my cider. My pre-holiday diet has consisted of quite a lot of cider, I must admit. So Willow, Whisper in the Wind that was, wasn't it? Well, not Willow the Wisp. Whisper in the Wind. I wonder if we can use Willow at some point in this universe mode. Some sort of sick and twisted storyline. Maybe splitting the Hardys up and using them as singles competitors. I don't know. I don't really want to. I like the Hardy Boys. I'm not really a massive fan of the Hardys. Don't get me wrong. I don't know. I liked that whole tag team thing years ago. The Hardys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian. I think I was more of a Dudleys boy myself. That was more the team that I went for. There's the pin from the centum. I think Eddie Edwards is going to get there. No, he doesn't. No, he does not get there. And it is a victory for the Broken Hardys. Be it skill by the Hardys, be it absolutely dismal AI, I don't know. But either way, the Hardy Boys do pick up the points. And it is going to mean that the Wolves have lost the points they gained. No, they don't, because you get 10 points for winning a tag team match. And you only get 5 points for losing. So it means they've not lost all their points they gained last week, but it means that they have lost an amount of them. And here we see the completely dismal AI. Eddie Edwards got in the ring in time, but then didn't realise that actually breaking the pin was what he was supposed to be doing, and therefore the Broken Hardys pick up the victory. I think because of that poor AI, the Wolves deserve to lose. There we go. And that means at our pay-per-view, it does essentially mean that we've got 2 unbeaten tag teams in the Broken Hardys and Mustache Mountain. One of those 2 teams is going to walk away with the tag team championships. And you know what? I said it last week, I think, or the week before. I sort of fancy Mustache Mountain. I don't know why. I know essentially they are the challengers. They should be the underdogs, but I think they're the favourites of this one. And here we go. Here's our next match of the evening. John Cena takes on Brian Cage in what PJ Toby's putting down as a match of muscle, really. And here we go. This should be interesting then, really. Last week, John Cena defeated Stone Cold Steve Austin one-on-one in our main event. This evening here, he takes on a completely different style of match against somebody who's a lot stronger. And John Cena's always been known as a man who's broken quite a lot of records in the gym, in the WWE. He can bench a lot of weight. He can do a lot. But Brian Cage might be the man that really outstrengths him. I've got to keep talking, otherwise I'm going to get a copyright in this video, this song, aren't I? I've had quite a lot of copyrights. I think it's because I put my I put the game audio up slightly before I started this series, just because I thought my voice was too loud. Now the problem is now I'm getting a lot more copyright claims against my videos, which doesn't actually make any difference to me whatsoever. As long as it's not a bad one, it doesn't really matter. If there's anyone out there who does YouTube videos, you'll sort of know this situation. But the way it works is that 2K do not allow you to get paid for content involving their game anyway, so I don't earn any money from any of this SWE stuff. It's all done just solely because I enjoy doing it, and you guys seem to really enjoy watching it, so I'll continue making it. I've obviously growing the channel quite a bit, and this series is doing pretty well as well. So yeah, I'm going to continue doing it on, but I can't earn any money from it. And every time a song matches with YouTube's archive of music, it does claim the whole video for the owner of that song. So I've got quite a few of my videos now, even though I'm not allowed to monetize them because 2K do not allow their footage to be monetized. A lot of my videos are actually being monetized by the WWE for use of their music, which isn't, again, it doesn't make any difference to me whatsoever. It just means that you guys might have to sit through a advert, but that advert has got nothing to do with me. That advert all goes to the WWE. I'm actually earning money for the WWE. Granted, it's literally pennies. Like when I first started and I didn't realise that you weren't allowed to earn money, I was monetizing a few of my videos and I was literally earning pence. Absolute pence. And it's got even worse now, of course, with the YouTube boycott and so forth. There's no money in YouTube whatsoever. And I at the moment, with all the other stuff that I do, the Skyrim, RimWorld, Final Fantasy and so forth, I think I'm coming out of about 50 to 60 pence per month at the moment with YouTube. I never do it for the money anyway. It'd just be nice to pay for some of the stuff that I purchased, because I brought a lot of stuff to do this. I mean, a lot. Easily, to do this YouTube channel, I probably spent easily 600-700 quid so far on recording equipment, microphones, a new computer because my old computer wasn't able to hack the amount of editing and that I was doing, and that's if you don't take into account obviously games and the PlayStations and stuff like that. But I was going to have all that anyway, wasn't I? But it's a lot of money, isn't it? But I enjoy doing it. That's the main thing, isn't it? If I enjoy it, I'll continue doing it. I love Brian Cage. Look in there with a lion's soul. And if you don't know Brian Cage, which I'm pretty sure most of you will, that is actually a genuine move he would do. He would do a lion salt quite easily. The man is massive. He is built like an absolute beast. He is, I think he does bodybuilding as well on the side, sort of bodybuilding competitions. And he is built like a beast, but he is so agile. Like a lot of the big men we have in SWE. We've got Matanza Cueto, can quite easily do a standing shooting star press. We've got, who else have we got? Vader. Even Vader's quite agile at the time. I'm looking around for a decent Keith Lee. Keith Lee's somebody who's, again, quite a big lad, but is very good at what he does. Jeff Cobb, of course. I've just named the same person twice, haven't I, with Jeff Cobb and Matanza Cueto, but still very, very big, agile men, and Brian Cage adds to that, really. And I think that's what it is now. You can't just be one style of wrestler anymore, especially on the indie scene. You've got to span many genres, and for Brian Cage to be the size he is and work for Lucha Underground, it just shows you how sort of diverse he can be. And he does utilise a lot of his strength in Lucha Underground, but at the same time he does have that ability to knock off a few of these really agile moves, like a lion salt, like we saw earlier on. And this would be a massive win here for Brian Cage if he could pull it off. Cena is probably one of the highest rated guys on the Mayhem roster. I have changed some stats, but Cena I've not changed so far. If he becomes a little bit too overpowered, we might have to drop his stats down a little bit, but I've not changed him so far. He got a win last week against Austin, which was a surprise. He's going to have another lion salt. But yeah, well, I think Cage needs this win, because Cage did lose last week as part of that Unbreakable Machines tag team against the Wolves. So at the moment, Brian Cage is low on points. He's on 95, whereas Cena's on 110. So already Cage is 15 points behind Cena. But a victory here can turn that around to 5 points. Because, of course, Cage would gain 5 and Cena would lose 5. So it'd be a big swing. There we go. Camel clutch locked in now, middle of the ring by Brian Cage on John Cena. But Cena has the strength to break free. Cena bringing Cage back up to his feet. Sends him over the top and a big right hand drop in Brian Cage. What's Cena up to now? Cena runs and jumps off the apron with that forearm right into the face of Brian Cage. Big move there by John Cena. I wasn't expecting to go sort of high like that, but I suppose you've got to. He's a big man, is Brian Cage. You've got to try and bring him down somehow. And that is what he went for. Belly to belly suplex there by Brian Cage on Cena. Cage now sending Cena back into the ring. And an elbow right across the face. Referee's up to a 6 count as Brian Cage continues the assault. Now bringing Cena back up. Knee to the gut and a discus lariat folding John Cena in half. Cena now shoulder block taking Brian Cage down. Cena completely no-selling that discus lariat. Oh, Cena now looking for the 5 moves of doom. 2 shoulder blocks into the front drop. Now looking for the 5-knuckle shuffle. There it is. Looking to line the 5-knuckle shuffle. That is the 4th of the 5 moves. Are we going to see the 5th? He's lining it up. Cena is lining up. Brian Cage takes him up. And John Cena with the AA. 1, 2. And no, Brian Cage refusing to be buried here on Mayhem. Cage knows that 2 losses in 2 weeks would be very detrimental for his future Mayhem career. Cena dropping an elbow into the knee of Brian Cage and stomping on the arm as well. And Cena going to show his strength now with this gut wrench, suplex, deadlift as well from the ground. Cena went for the kick to the back of Cage, who slid out the way. Dragging Cena into the middle of the ring. Takes him up in a pump handle fall-away slam. There's the pin. 1, 2. Oh, ref hasn't seen it. The referee did not see it, but Cena got his hand on the ropes. And Brian Cage picks up the win. Ooh. Oh, very interesting. Cena is not going to be happy with that, but Brian Cage is not going to complain. Brian Cage needed those points desperately. And through luck slash pure refereeing audacity or just complete lack of knowledge of what he's doing, the referee, it's terrible. The refereeing quality we have here in SWE is pretty low. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, the referee should see this. The referee should see that. And Brian Cage, I think he's got lucky. Not saying that he wouldn't have gone on to win the match anyway, but it just looks like he's a little bit lucky to me. But Brian Cage picks up the win. That's going to put him back where he needs to be on 100 points. John Cena is going to drop back down to 105. So dropping away a little bit from some of the other guys. And here's our next match of the evening. I want to say first time ever, but I'm not 100% sure. It's Johnny Mundo versus Seth Rollins. I'd bet it's not first time ever. And here we go. This is going to be an amazing match. I'm looking forward to this one. I have been all night. I've been since last week, since we announced that we were going to do this match, because of course it was a little bit of a random one because we changed it. Yeah, because Neville moved, of course, from Mayhem to Adrenaline. So PJW already made 2 trades with Mayhem in the first 4 weeks of the Universe mode. I think he might have been maybe didn't think through some of his picks at the draft as well as he maybe should have done, or maybe as he wanted. Granted, we were pretty hammered by the time we got around to that draft. We planned to start recording that draft pretty early on and drink the beers throughout. We ended up doing the draft after we'd drunk all the beers, and we weren't in the best shape of time, and I think maybe we may have messed up 1 or 2 of our picks, but I still think it's working out fine. I think as long as we don't go over the top with trades, which I don't think we have so far. We've made limited trades. Only 2 have happened so far. So far. Although when we come around to Octane this week, you will notice a few changes. Octane has not only brought in... Octane's brought in 4 new people. I felt like Octane needed something big. And we have 4 new people coming to Octane. Of course, you already know 1 in Drew Gulak, but there are 3 more names joining Octane. And 2 of them are from outside SWE, brand new members of the roster. Another one might be a bit of a surprise to you, but I do have some plans for it, but I'm not going to announce it yet. You'll have to wait till Octane, won't you, in a few days' time. So we go Seth Rollins. What has Seth done so far this month? I don't think Seth's done anything. No, Seth's done nothing so far this month. However, Seth does have, believe it or not, Seth does have a television championship shot at the pay-per-view this week. And that's mainly because that was a dream match that PJW put together at the very beginning of this. He wanted to see Seth versus Finn Balor. So that is exactly what we are going to get. But it makes you wonder if Johnny Mundo was to win this match. Where would he sit in that television championship picture? That's the question. But we will cross that bridge when we come to it, if we ever do. We've actually got some really good matches at the pay-per-view. Look at that. Hideo Itami, Kota Ibushi, AJ Styles, triple threat match. Oh. This is the point where you throw money at your screen, because that's how good that match is. Can you imagine that match in real life? Oh. Of course, we know it's Brock Lesnar versus Shawn Michaels for the Mayhem Championship. We've got Ivelisse versus Asuka versus Sasha Banks for the Mayhem Women's Championship. The Hardyz versus Mustache Mountain, as we've already discussed, for the Mayhem Tag Team Championships. We have got Bam Bam Bigelow defending his Hardcore Championship against Taz. And to start things off, a nice little random match that's not necessarily that random. We're going to have RVD, Mr. Rob Van Dam himself, taking on Jerry Lynn. So that's a pretty damn good pay-per-view we've got set for you this week, actually. And Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins for the Television Championship might be the match that most people are looking forward to. Shawn Michaels versus Brock Lesnar is a very interesting concept. A match that I'm hoping does play out very well. But for me, Seth versus Balor is just mamma mia. It was a Yola Domio day. I don't know what happened there. I just turned into one of the Domio puppets. I'm not happy about that. I'm weird. If you haven't noticed it yet, I'm pretty out there a bit. I'm sure you have noticed it. I'm a 28-year-old man making WWE Universe Mode videos for YouTube. I'm not your average Joe, I don't think. But that's a good thing. Where would the world be without people like us, eh? Right, we're at a risk here of getting a double counter. This is what the game is like. Okay, John Morrison there went for the double elbows but tripped over Seth and landed on his own elbows on the rampway, which is never a good position for anybody to land. Go on, somebody throw the other person towards the ring, because I'm a little bit worried double countouts might happen here. It's a worry here. We're in a bad situation. You know what? I'm not going to let a double counter end this match. I've been looking forward to this match. I'm not letting a double counter end it. But they are fighting all the way up the ramp. If needs be, we're going to have to get them back in the ring and restart this one. Oh, they both make it back in on the 9 count. I'm surprised. And Seth decides he wants to go back out. Come on, Seth. Stop being a tit. Just carry it. Just do the match. Oh, Seth's going to go for something interesting here, is he? Asai! Oh my god. He just Phoenix splashed to the outside from the middle rope. That is pretty insane. I don't think we've seen anybody do that so far on 2K17. Not that I've noticed or remember anyway. That is a pretty interesting maneuver. These guys just fight inside the ring. It's evident that these two guys want to face off in a Full Count Anywhere match by the looks of it. I'll tell you what, these two guys would be fantastic in a ladders match as well, wouldn't they? Armbar here by Seth, just really wrenching back at the arm of John Morrison. So I do apologise. It's Johnny Mundo. We're not going Morrison. We're going Mundo. We want to try and beef up our Lucha Underground status here by giving us an extra member in Mundo. Seth would suit Lucha Underground really well, wouldn't he? That would be pretty interesting, actually. I would like to see Seth and Lucha Underground. Back in the ring again. And Mundo now going to the outside. We get a lot of springboard. Springboard frog splash to the back of Seth. Stamping on the back as well. Remember, we've still got 2 matches left for you after this one. We have got Pentagon Jr. versus Aleister Black. And of course that main event, Shawn Michaels, the #1 contender, takes on the Macho Man Randy Savage. And again, what would happen here this evening if Savage was to pick up the victory over Shawn Michaels? Again, I don't think it would make too much of a change at the moment. But it would definitely give him a nice little boost in stats to push him forward into next month. Seth now taking Mundo up into the buckle bomb. Now, the question begs, did I remember to change Seth Rollins' finisher maneuver back to the curb stomp? I believe the answer may be no. So he might still be trying to pedigree people. We'll have to find out. Yes, he's still trying to pedigree people. Okay. Okay, we'll have to change that, I think. I feel that will have to change because I'm not dealing with a pedigree anymore. The whole pedigree situation is done. But it did get Seth a victory here against Johnny Mundo anyway. And Seth is taking in the momentum he needs into the pay-per-view. So far, you know what? So far, I've been pretty happy with all of the victors so far. As much as, again, I don't want to be showing favoritism to anybody. The only thing I show favoritism to is stuff that's going to make the universe mode look better and run a bit better. And I think #1 contenders winning their matches before the pay-per-view is definitely a good thing. And of course with the Hardys earlier on, champions winning their matches before the pay-per-views, again a good thing to sort of build that matchup at the pay-per-view. So yeah, like I said, I'm not going to show favoritism unless it is going to improve the universe mode for some reason. Even if it's so basic and small, I'll still go for it. And here's our next match of the evening: Pentagon Jr. versus Aleister Black. And here we go. That's some pretty cool stuff going on. So it's been E3 the few days before I've been recording this, and there's some real cool new looking games out in there. Gonna have to maybe have a look at a couple of those for the channel at some point. I'm trying to slow things down at the moment. I've had some bit of problems. I've had to stop doing my RimWorld game because my save file's corrupted. Great. As if I don't get enough of that problem here on 2K17, eh? Yeah, so that's annoying. Final Fantasy's finished, which is fine. So I think I'm just going to concentrate on doing less this month, because I think the last sort of 5-6 months I've really done myself in by just trying to do like 4. In some cases this month I've uploaded 4 videos in one day, which is far too much. Far too much, really. It's crazy, isn't it? So I'm going to slow down a little bit now, I think. Although they did just announce Skyrim VR. I don't know how that works. I don't know if it's going to be a new game or whether it's going to be an upgrade of what we've currently got. I have no idea. I did actually buy the VR on release day. I sold it for £100 profit the day after release day. But I wish I still had it, to be honest. I can't afford it at the moment. I don't know, I'm not too sure now. I really wanted it, the VR. But as things have gone on, I've looked at it and I'm not quite sure it's as good as what I hope it will be. It looks very much at the moment like it's for very basic games. And to be honest, a few of the Skyrim things look a bit frustrating. Like, I've seen guys trying to pick stuff up and put stuff down again and this, that and the other. And I don't want that. I literally want to play Skyrim with my controller, but just have the VR on so I can look around the world and just be amazed by the sights of Skyrim. Because Skyrim is a beautiful game. The world, the sky, everything in Skyrim. And you imagine being on Skyrim with the VR on and just seeing dragons fly above your head. It would be incredible. So maybe I've just talked myself into it now. I need the VR though, don't I, really? Do you reckon they'll do VR 2K18? I did read ages ago, you know. And I don't know if this is true or whether this was just a thing that came up and they changed their mind with it. But WWE were looking at doing potentially a VR version of the network, and the idea was to record certain events from a front row seat perspective, and the idea was that you would watch the events in VR to simulate sitting in front row of a wrestling event, which sounds pretty cool. I'm not quite sure if it was just a concept or whether it was just a rumor or what, but it sounds like something that'd be pretty awesome. Can you imagine watching WrestleMania from literally your front row seat? You probably wouldn't get as good a view as we do on TV. It'd probably be a little bit of a fun thing to do every now and again, but might not have a lot of longevity to it. But it would be fun, wouldn't it, really? And I can't imagine it'd be too difficult to do. They literally just got to park a camera there, a camera with like multiple angles, multiple outlooks, so when you look around, you can see different areas. I think that'd be pretty good, because being someone who lives in the UK, going to WrestleMania, for example, would cost me an absolute fortune. You're talking over £1,000 to probably even more than that to get tickets to fly over there, stay in a hotel, and that's just if you went for the weekend. If you went for like a week or so and you did a few of the events throughout the week and watched a few of the indie shows, all of a sudden you're looking at even more money, and it could really become very expensive. And if there was that opportunity to sit in an imaginary front row seat, I think that'd be great. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see Aleister Black win the Universal Championship, facing off against Cassius Ohno in the main event of WrestleMania. We could all hope, can't we? That happened at NXT a couple of weeks ago, didn't it? Aleister Black versus Cassius Ohno. Cassius Ohno, of course Chris Hero, was actually one of the men who trained Aleister Black for periods of his career. A little random useless fact there for you. Oh, Pentagon sending Aleister Black face first into the ring post, now locking him into a camel clutch on the outside. And once again, this match is not Falls Count Anywhere, so there is going to be a count by the referee. When the last match nearly ended in double count out, and this one it's not too bad where it is at the moment. But being on the corners are the worrying ones for me. The corners always seem to be a little bit dodgy. Referee is up to a 6 count. It could actually end up being a double count out here. Because he's going to throw him straight into the ring post now instead in the ring, isn't he? Well, that's an 8. We might be alright in there. We might be alright. Get yourself. There we go. A 9 count. My God, they're cutting it really bloody close at this point in time, aren't they? Really close. Now, Aleister Black up to the top. He likes to utilise a double foot stomp. He's not going to go for it, actually. As Pentagon slowly getting back to his feet. He's going to go for that. It was going to look like a drop kick to start off with, but it ended up with the kick in the face there of Pentagon. El Pentasiero Miedo, as I think he's more well known now because of his lack of ties with AAA. I think he's only allowed to use Pentagon in Lucha Underground now, which I believe he's still contracted to Lucha Underground. He's just not contracted to AAA, I believe. I'm not 100% on that one, but I'm sure Tony Wilson can take, because I think he told me on Twitter ages ago that that was the way it was all happening. Now a lot of the AAA stars were leaving due to lack of contracts, due to there being just a lot more money on the indie scene. But what makes you wonder, because I don't know if a lot of you've seen this before, but YouTube has now classed wrestling as a non-advertiser friendly thing on YouTube. So I think a lot of indie companies will be losing quite a lot of their revenue. And I wonder if that's going to mean that the money will dry up. And it has, if you look at What Culture, for example, the money has dried up there quite a bit. And they have had to start cancelling certain events because they can't afford to run them. They can't afford to pay the wrestlers because the money from YouTube's not coming in anymore. So maybe the YouTube boycott could really not just hit YouTube massively, but could really fall onto the entire wrestling community, which is not good, really. Not good at all. Pentagon now with a pin. 1, 2... And Aleister Black kicking out. Black could do with this victory. It wouldn't make much of a difference. It wouldn't make any difference to the tag team because Pentagon's not in a tag team, but it would mean that Black would get some individual points just in case PJ Toby ever considers using him a little bit further on in the Universe mode as a singles competitor. There's no reason why we couldn't see an Aleister Black go for the television championship. I mean, Aleister Black versus Finn Balor has got money written all over it as well, hasn't it? As has Aleister Black versus Seth Rollins, Aleister Black versus AJ Styles, Kota Ibushi. There's a lot of potential with Black, isn't there, really? And it's interesting to see what PJ Toby might do with Pentagon as well. I've used Pentagon quite high up the card here this evening. This is not a match that PJ Toby gave to me, but I had to create it because Brian Cage was double booked, essentially. And I think I might have buggered up with my typing. So we changed this one to Aleister Black versus Pentagon. And of course the last match wasn't one of PJ Toby's either. We changed that because it was supposed to be Johnny Mundo versus Neville, but with Neville leaving the roster. Ooh, 2 count there, and Black's not happy because Pentagon had his foot up on the ropes. Aleister Black Russian leg sweep taking Pentagon down. Black now bringing Pentagon back up and looking for this combination of strikes now. Of course, a big history with kicking his old Aleister Black. I want to say kickboxing. I don't think it is kickboxing that he does. I think it's something else. I'm not 100% sure. Now heading up to the top rope, he does like to utilise the old double foot stomp. And there it is, the double foot stomp on Pentagon Jr. There's the pin by Aleister Black. 1, 2, and no, Pentagon kicking out now as well. Wow. Nobody wants to lose this one. Nobody at all. Black going up top once again, in for a leg drop this time. And now into a double elbows, a quick chop to the face of Pentagon. It comes back with a kick in the leg of Aleister Black, who now takes him up on his shoulders, spins around into the seated stunner. Not a position that he really wants to be in, really, is it? But again, it's only enough for a 2 count. These two guys really putting on a cracking match for us here this evening. I'm sorry if you can hear me clicking. I just needed to put a YouTube video to upload because I'm really running short on time. I literally fly in about 12 hours. So I need to make sure that video gets uploaded before I go. I just completely forgot about it. Pentagon taking Aleister Black up high. Oh, into the Project Champa. That powerbomb backbreaker. Black at straight up, catching Pentagon. Went to take him for a backdrop, and Pentagon fighting back with a heel kick. This match has been incredible, actually. Both these guys. Oh, and Pentagon catches Aleister Black. Package power driver. Into the pin. 1, 2, and 3. Wow. What a match. I really enjoyed that. I really, really enjoyed that. For me, that was match of the evening so far. I know we've still got Savage versus Michaels to come, but I think this one's got a Meltzer rating all over it. Wasn't the best match we've ever seen in the Universe mode, but definitely the best match we've seen in a good few episodes, I think. And I'm a little bit annoyed because it seems to be we seem to save the best matches for normal weekly shows, and we don't seem to get the best matches on pay-per-views, and so that does annoy me. It really does. I think so far pay-per-views have been a little bit ropey the last few weeks. They've been good, but they just haven't had that wow factor about them. I don't know what it is. But this match definitely had a wow factor. And Pentagon Jr., how's he done so far? He has... Oh, Pentagon's had 2 matches, 2 wins now. He defeated Johnny Mundo on week number 1 in our very opening match of Season 2. And now here he is defeating Aleister Black as well. So Black is going to drop down now to 90 points. That's 2 losses Aleister Black has now suffered. 1 as a tag team and 1 in singles competition. So Aleister Black is going to need a bit of help from PJW, I think, to try and boost him up after the pay-per-view. But Pentagon Jr. might need a little bit of a push from PJW to show why he has this many points. And now it's time for the main event of the evening. What on earth was that? Right, Randy Savage versus Shawn Michaels. As I try and back out of that incredibly bad voice I just did for no apparent reason. Do 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 do. Right, so Randy Savage so far in this Universe mode has had 1 match and he's lost that match. It was a triple threat match, of course, last week alongside the Ultimate Warrior and the eventual winger. Winger? Yeah, he's a winger. The eventual winner, Lex Luger. So that is important for him to get a win here tonight, to get his rankings back on point. However, Michaels so far has had 1 match, and it was on week number 1 of the Universe mode, where he defeated AJ Styles in the main event. So at the moment, we have Shawn Michaels on 110 points, and we have the Macho Man Randy Savage on 95. So 15 points difference so far. You know what, even worse though, is if a win here for Shawn Michaels, that'll put Michaels on 120 points, and that'll put the Macho Man down on 90. So it'll be 30 points difference between these 2 superstars, these 2 members of the SWE wrestling roster, which is... It's justified because that's the way the points work, but at the same time, is it really justified? The talent between the 2 of them, there's not much of a gap between the 2 of them, is there really? So it's a little bit harsh, isn't it? We'll see what happens. But again, Shawn Michaels needs this win here to continue building momentum forward towards that match against Brock Lesnar. At the pay-per-view, the Beast incarnate himself, Brock Lesnar, takes on Shawn Michaels, defending his Mayhem Championship. Because Lesnar won that belt... When did he win that belt? He didn't win it at Evolution, did he? He defended it successfully at Evolution, didn't he? Who did he face? No, he won it at Evolution, didn't he? He beat CM Punk. Because CM Punk had won the belt at Shabby Mania in a fatal 4-way against Cesaro, AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. And then Brock Lesnar defeated The Undertaker at Shabby Mania in a #1 contendership match, which led to the Brock Lesnar versus CM Punk match at Evolution, which led to Brock Lesnar winning the championship. So since Brock Lesnar has won the championship, he's yet to wrestle at all, which is incredibly realistic, isn't it, really? Because think about it, right? And I might be getting ahead of myself here, because remember, I am recording this 2 weeks in the past, because I'm recording this day before I go away. Brock Lesnar won the championship. Did he win it? Yeah. Yeah, of course he did, yeah. He won the Universal Championship at WrestleMania, which was March. It's now July, and he's not defended that belt once. Is it just me, or is that disgraceful? I mean, they take the belt off of people who are injured because they can't defend it in 30 days. The rule they always give out is if you cannot defend the belt within 30 days, then you should not get... Then you have to hand in the championship, don't you? Great Balls of Fire. When is that pay-per-view? Am I getting ahead of myself now? No, the pay-per-view takes place on the 9th of July. So the pay-per-view takes place next Sunday. So, let's have a look at this then, right? So, July the 9th. Right, so when was WrestleMania? WrestleMania 33 took place on the 2nd of April. Is that right? La di la di la 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 la. 2nd of April? I think so. Okay, we'll call it 2nd of April. So 2nd of April through to the 9th of July. So we got April, May, June. So 3 months. 3 whole months. Over 3 months. Since not only Brock Lesnar defended the belt, but Brock Lesnar was actually in a match. I'm sorry, but I'm not impressed. I think that's terrible. I really do think that's terrible. Hence the thing that myself and PJ Toby did a while ago, the Shabby Talk, where we said about part-time champions and how disgusted we were with how they get away with it, to be honest with you, because part-time champions, it's just a joke. I mean, they're annoyed that the low ratings on Raw, and they're on about bringing Cena onto Raw. They've already brought The Miz over and a few names like that, and they're pushing Raw as hard as they can. They brought up a few extra people onto Raw from NXT, and they're really trying their hardest. They've got Roman Reigns, so they just think it should work anyway, no matter what. And I think a lot of the problem is just not having a bloody champion around. I think if you look at it, right, The Miz, thankfully The Miz has got the Intercontinental Championship now, because Dean Ambrose, in my opinion, was a very weak Intercontinental Champion. With Brock Lesnar being a vacant Universal Champion, the Tag Champions were pretty cool when Hardyz had them, and now they've lost them, of course, to Cesaro and Sheamus, which is pretty cool as well. Women's Championship, Alexa Bliss, perfect, but you've got your 2 main championships on the show, where you're Universal and you're Intercontinental, and like I say, Ambrose was a bit of a weak champion for me. I'm much happier now that that Miz has the belt, and for me, Brock Lesnar not defending the belt for 3 months after winning it is disgusting. I mean, Jinder Mahal in 3 months will defend his championship 3 times. And Jinder Mahal gets a lot of hassle. People are saying Jinder shouldn't be champion. He's going to defend his belt 3 times. Brock Lesnar doesn't defend it once in 3 months. It's stupid, it really is. Big elbow to the top of the head there by Savage on Michaels. Michaels back in the ring now, and Savage catching him once again. Looking for a neck breaker, but Michaels breaking free. Ooh, that was a moment there, Michaels. I thought you might be lining up for a Sweet Chin Music, but not enough space, I don't think, to get in there. Running forearm in the corner by Michaels on Savage. And now Michaels does back away into the corner. He's tuning up the band for one more reunion tour. Oh! Savage ducked the Sweet Chin Music. Savage ducked it. A rake of the back. Savage now taking Michaels up on his shoulders, looking for a good old-fashioned aeroplane spin. harnessing the spirit of the late, great Jack Gallagher, who's not late. He's pretty great, though. Oh, Jack Gallagher is immensely great. If you've not seen the Locked and Loaded pay-per-view yet, you've got to check that out. Octane's first pay-per-view. He crowned all of our new champions. And my God, were there some surprises. Only a 2 count there. Michael's kicking out at the big elbow. And I'm enjoying this this event so far. It's been a really good night, actually. We've seen some good stuff so far. Controversial as well with the Brian Cage John Cena finish earlier on this evening. But I think it leads us all in nicely to our pay-per-view. And of course, like I said, Shawn Michaels will be facing off against Brock Lesnar for the Mayhem Championship. Shawn Michaels hasn't held gold so far yet in the Universe mode. So holding gold by defeating Brock Lesnar at a pay-per-view would be massive. The first ever Mayhem only pay-per-view as well. And like I said, we upload an elbow drop of his own. We upload SWE every other day normally on this channel. So today you wouldn't normally see another one until the 3rd. But you know, just in case you fancied having a look at the channel tomorrow at 7 o'clock, just keep an eye out. You never know. There might be something extra. You never know. Yeah, you might have a look. There could be something there. There might not be. Who knows? Actually, yeah. I'll say there might not be because it depends if my flight's delayed. There probably won't be. So if my flight's okay, we'll be okay. But yeah, there might be something there. There might be something there. Who knows? Oh, out of nowhere, sweet chin music. But not gone for the pin here. No, he's gone for the pin. Just rolled him away from the ropes. 2 and 3 out of nowhere. Shawn Michaels picks up the victory and another 10 points in the rankings. 120 now for Shawn Michaels, 90 for Savage. Savage has got a lot of work to do after this pay-per-view to get himself back in the picture here. I can't imagine Savage is going to get a championship match or anything. Even television championship with the rankings he's got so far. 2 losses. Granted, he's faced off against Shawn Michaels and AJ Styles. Get matches that you're not expected to win every time. They're very, very difficult matches to win. So that's the reason why that I feel like it's been a little bit harsh on Savage. But I think next month he's going to have to take... Now, what am I talking about? Sorry. Savage has lost a triple threat match against Warrior and Luger. And lost this match here against Michael. So again, they're 2 very, very tricky matches. And I think next month after the pay-per-view, PJ is going to really have to have a look at a few people that he might want to get their rankings back up and give maybe a few easier matches just to try and build them up a bit. This is where I've always been annoyed about these in the past, but this is where squash matches work really well. I hate squash matches in real life in WWE, but in SWE it's going to be actually a very important way for us to be able to maybe push a few people into a position where they should be, which they're struggling to get into at the moment. Because if you look at the rankings at the moment, which are not going to be up to date, they're going to be 2 weeks out. I will repeat, they're 2 weeks out at the moment. And they will be updated hopefully tomorrow. Again, depends on flights and so forth when I get back. And I've got 2 weeks worth of rankings to sort out. But yeah, we should be able to get to a point where you'll be able to see there's a few people on the rankings that are probably not where they should be. And I think a few matches here and there, because there'll be a few people higher than what they should be as well. Especially with the amount of dark matches, of course, we've been doing and so forth. Like on my show of Throwdown, I think Eric Rowan's one of the highest ranked people at the moment because he's won a few dark matches. So again, maybe Eric Rowan against a couple of the bigger guys who have lost matches might be something we do just to try and level things up a little bit. There we go. Enough of me babbling on. That is the end of tonight's show. I hope you have enjoyed it. Of course, if you have, then please do hit that like button. It does really help me out. And of course, hit that subscribe button as well. If you've got any comments, drop them down in the comment section. I would not have replied to anything of the last 2 weeks because I am currently away. I might be able to, depending if I can get internet connection in the hotel. But yeah, I wouldn't promise anything. So I'm back tomorrow. So I will reply to anything and everything. Who knows? Ask me anything. I've been Shabby Gamer. Thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you all very, very soon for our next episode of SWE. Which may be sooner than you think. Bye.